What's up, my people? Welcome back to another episode of A Little with Truth podcast. It's me. Hi. I was hanging out with some people today. We went to an archery range to shoot. I was pretty decent, by the way. Well, for a first timer, that is. You can say I channeled my inner Mockingjay or Legolas, whichever you want to say. Anyway, when we were gearing up to go for one round, one of us was trying to motivate everybody else, like to put on their best, and he said something along the lines of, imagine your ex was the target. Haha. I mean, funny, sort of. And it probably worked for some people that hate their exes, I don't know. But the question that struck me in that moment, and I actually voiced it out, because like it just came as a thought, was, why do we all hate our exes? Or better still, why do we always assume that we all hate our exes? Like, oh, I broke up with this person. Oh, like the person you stopped seeing or stopped being friends with. Why are you guys now enemies? Do we call it a breakup because something snapped or shattered irreparably between you and the person? Whether ex-friends or ex-boyfriends or girlfriends or ex-spouses, even ex-co-workers and bosses sometimes. But like, there's just this sort of general expectation that the end of a relationship always leaves behind bad feelings or a bitter taste in the mouths of both parties. It's like people just always expect it to have been some huge fight or one dramatic falling out. Cheating, betrayal, backbiting, sabotaging, etc., etc. I mean, we all love a good story, right? Preferably with references and witnesses and screenshots. Oh, this person was there and then I found out through this person. Then they unfollowed each other on Instagram. All of that messy stuff. It makes for great entertainment. But let's be honest, life isn't always dramatic. Sometimes life is mundane and boring even. People change locations or change jobs or move into a new phase of life and just grow apart from their friends. It's easy to stay friends when you're in the same hostel or go to class together or attend the same church, live in the same neighborhood. But after like graduation, moving apart, lots of people actually find it difficult to carry on the relationship. I can testify to that. Like, I can clearly recall losing quite a number of my friends at different stages for no other reason than suddenly being pulled apart by circumstances and realizing we just couldn't keep up. Our timelines were just not aligning or something. Sometimes it's not even that big, like they don't necessarily have to move apart or change jobs, but a forgotten text message here or there when you're busy, postponed plans. Oh, we're meant to go here this week, let's go 2 weeks time, let's go next month, and we still don't go next. And before you know it, months have passed without going, missed calls, days turn to weeks, turn to months, and there's just less and less communication. Next thing you know, the relationship just isn't what it was anymore. It happens. To compound issues, maybe you've even both gotten closer to other people, so slowly each person's relationship needs are being fulfilled elsewhere. Please note, like, I'm not just talking about romantic relationship. Relationship needs can be as basic as just like silly humor, all those dumb memes you send, or song recommendations, random updates about your day even. You know those texts you send now, oh my god, you will never believe what just happened to me inside a cab, or I just saw the funniest thing in the market. Just that need to offload to somebody for no particular reason. That's an underrated relationship need. Or you know how sometimes you're thinking of maybe getting a new phone case, and in your mind you already know you're going to get the purple one, but you just text your friend, should I get black or purple? That is a relationship need, just the need to ask, even though you already know what you're going to do. I don't know what it's called in like professional love and relationship terms. Maybe any experts can help, but you get my point. Relationships don't always end messy and loud, but there's still that unspoken expectation that they have to end badly. I'll be the first to confess that for the longest time, I actually used to feel the same way. Like, I can't say I've had a lot of like horrible breakups that ended with huge realizations. This person has been keeping secrets or deep pain. Oh, I was so hurt or stuff like that. I mean, there have been some, but just not so many. The majority of my lost relationships just sort of wore out or wore off or something, and yet I just kind of took a negative stance about it, if I'm being honest. I'm not saying I was actively hating on them or anything, but there was this slight sense of, I don't know, dread whenever like I had reason to cross paths with any of them, my former friends I mean. Like, Oh, we're not friends anymore. What are we? Are we enemies? Are we rivals? The saying is, whoever is not for us is against us, right? So I just had it in the back of my mind, sort of like there was this thick red line between friend and enemy, and just nothing else in between. So once someone didn't count as a friend again, and I didn't know where to place them, they subconsciously became an enemy, quote and unquote. And of course, this isn't just a me thing or like just coming from the inside. People actually contributed to it too. I mean, we all have a way of contributing to all the worst things of each other. People would be subtly trying to get the rise out of you, like, oh, so and so person is now hanging out with so and so person. They're talking about your ex, so and so person. Or did you know she had a birthday get together? Do you know he invited people to his place last week? And even though you're not supposed to feel anything, because the relationship is expired, but somehow I still find myself thinking, oh wow, so this person doesn't rate me anymore, so this guy doesn't even like me again, he didn't even bother to invite me, which of course is a silly thing to feel since, like I said, the relationship has worn out, the relationship is over, you're not supposed to be invited, you're not friends anymore. I think we've all been there at some point or the other, like the relationship reached its expiration date, expired uneventfully, but along the line we started to find reasons why it was actually a bad ending and we have to carry some sourness in our hearts. All of a sudden, something that you can clearly remember saying, I don't even know why we stopped being friends, we just grew apart. And truly, there was no concrete reason. But then you find yourself making up some half-cooked concept of, oh, he started to act this way, or she started to talk like this, or I heard this, or I heard that. And it may be true that at that point in time, the person may have done some of these things, like while you people were still in the relationship, the person may have done this or done that. But when the relationship ended, that was not your reason. That was not your reason. Your mind is just now giving you a reason to excuse the bad feelings that you have forced on yourself. Relationship ended, there were no bad feelings, there was just confusion. But because you just have to have somebody to blame, you just feel like you have to have antagonism. Is there a word like antagonism? You have to be antagonistic towards the person, or you have to paint the person as an antagonist. Yes. So you have to come up with reasons to justify that. I don't know if it's because I haven't done this in a while, but part of me feels like I'm rambling and making no sense. So just hoping you guys get my point. But in recent years, I finally started to learn a lesson that has slowly but surely been saving me more and more from dealing with unnecessary bad feelings and bitterness towards exes. The thing is, people are in our lives for seasons. Plain and simple as that. Everybody's not yours forever, neither are you anybody's forever, and it's perfectly okay to accept that. And in fact, it's perfectly healthy to move on with that in your mind. Now, this is in no way advocating for treating people as replaceable in your life. Definitely not. Like, I'm not saying that. Everyone God crosses our paths with comes with a purpose to fulfill towards our lives. Some last longer than others, some last almost forever, like literally till death do us apart. But there are still some that last only for a time. You may be in a person's life just to be like a support system for them through their dark time, or to be a study buddy, a carpool partner. You could be connected to them even for your sake, to learn patience or punctuality or a skill, or so they can even help you figure out your purpose or push you in the right direction, or even to meet someone else through them. It can be any variety and combination of things, but the fact is we don't know this from the onset. Every time you meet somebody, this person could be destined to be a life partner. I'm not just talking about marriage, like a member of your gang for life, let me put it like that. Or you guys can be back to strangers in a few years. You don't know. That's the beauty of it, methinks. We can't see the future, so all we can do is put everything into our relationships. Love your people with all the love you can muster, plus extra. Learn from them, teach them, support them, lean on them, make the most of it. It may be for now, it may be forever, that doesn't really matter at that point. What matters though is after it ends. After the big fight or the quiet drifting apart, then you have to remind yourself that no matter how painful or bitter it is to swallow, the season is up. Now, I will pause here to say I'm not trying to preach that relationships are meant to be easily discarded, and once you have a big fight or once you guys don't talk for some time, that means the end has come. Definitely not. Relationships take work, hard work. We know that. Patience, endurance, empathy, reconciling again and again and again and again. There will be terrible fights and disappointments and offenses on both sides. There will be long periods of silence and distance, but you have to keep trying. That's what loving people means. You recognize that what you share is precious, and so even when it threatens to just crack open, you have to work to fix it over and over and over as many times as necessary. Really. Sometimes that will work and you'll be able to keep going. I mean, there are people who stay best friends for their whole lives. There are people who stay married for decades, but sometimes it won't work. Sometimes the end will be inevitable and you both have to just let it go at some point. In fact, sometimes the harder you work to fix it, the more damage is being done, and that's the sad truth. Those are the times that we are tempted to villainize the other person and carry baggage out of the relationship. Those are the times we must simply acknowledge that the season is over. He's not my enemy. He's not my enemy. We had a good 2-year run. He made me laugh. He held me while I cried. He was good for me, but we can't go any further together. It's like I hold no bitterness towards this guy. His season in my life is just over. She was my good friend. We studied together. She braided my hair. She knew my secrets. I knew her secrets. But this is the end of it. No hard feelings. Season over. We accept what we cannot change. There's a prayer like that. God, give me something to accept what I cannot change what I can, and know the difference between both. But basically, we accept the things we can't change with grace. We are graceful about it, and we open our hearts to the new season and the new people that will be ushered in. You have to gracefully let go of the old so that there can be room for the new. Please take note, I'm not referring to some of the wild animals that you people are dating and befriending up and down. Those toxic ones that manipulate and gaslight you people to the point of madness. My hand is not there. The moment your eyes clear from that type of situation, pack your slippers and run. Forget times and seasons, just be going. I'm not talking about, those are not the people that you usher out with grace. Those people, you run from them, you escape them. I'm referring to the good people. Just because someone is good for you doesn't mean they will stay. Sometimes they leave you, sometimes you leave them. Sometimes it's a mutual leaving. The point is we don't always have to hate our exes. We can miss them and be grateful for them and accept that they are just not our people anymore. But unlike the misconception that I carried for too long and the misconception that a lot of people have, there is a third option apart from for me and against me. There's actually space in our hearts for those people that were once ours but aren't ours anymore. It's not easy, but after doing it over and over, it gets easier to just put them in the space they belong. You don't just have to shove them straight from friend to enemy, boyfriend to enemy, this to that. No, you can put them in that middle place. The middle space. Let's call it the middle space. Thank you guys for tuning in. Thank you for listening. I'm so glad to be back. I hope you guys are as excited to have me back as I am to be back. And for any new listeners, if you're just tuning in for the first time, I'm Jude, your host. This is season 2 of A Little with Jude podcast. You can go back and listen to season 1, available on all the platforms that are listed on the site. You can also follow us on Instagram. Also follow me. I don't know why I keep pluralizing it. You can follow me on Instagram at A Little with Jude podcast. In the meanwhile, until next time, hang in there. Have a great day. Have a great week. Happy Tuesday. Bye.